using her. Record this. think someone just joined the meeting, but I'm looking at something else on my screen, so I'll be right there. Good. We have that. Sign in. Facebook. No, let's not do that. Hi, Nellie. Hi, Angie. Hi, James. I put you in a waiting room because I wanted to ask you what your experience was in this waiting room. What was going on in the last minute or two that you were sitting there?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Well, it just said, please wait while your host is before your host connects.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm trying to figure out if I can use that and play some music or have a kind of a rotating, screen going on, something
That would be nice.
to wait on. Yeah. And welcome, Marin. Welcome, Holly.
Hello.
Welcome, Jenny.
Hello.
Look at that little baby. How's he doing?
Well, he's 2 now, so he's not that little, but he's very healthy now.
Oh, that's so good. What good news. Well, thank you, each of you, for being here. This is just such an exciting and exhausting time. That is the best way to put it, as you can imagine. It probably is for you too, right? We're all in this together.
Yep.
So I'm really excited about visiting with you and doing a little quick brainstorm. And thank you for being willing to help. This is going to be, I think, not just something that can help in the short term with our families that have recently joined, but potentially something we could continue to do for a long time, and something that could get us closer to this whole student-led, student go concept that some of you aren't quite as familiar with. Angie and Jenny serve on our Family Education Center National Advisory Board. And of course, Holly, you do as well. And so you've heard some of the conversations that we've had about converting family school to a student-led experience with short videos. And let me admit, Afua and Trisha's here now. Can you guys see that as well when somebody's waiting, now that you're in the meeting? If you go to participants at the bottom, you can't see that? Just kind of curious if you could, see that.
I don't think so.
Let me also record this meeting. Oh, it is recording. Good. So it was automatically recording. Somebody just texted me. Please send me the recording link as well. Thanks, and carry on. I'm praying for you. Okay, awesome. Hi, Trisha.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
So good. Things are really, really good. I said to everyone else, things are really tiring, but they're really exciting at the same time. Invigorating and exhausting, two adjectives that are going together in my life right now. And you're all thinking, well, that's my everyday life. as a homeschool mom, I'm just figuring this out right now. James, Jenny, Marin, Nellie, you're muted, and you can unmute yourself if you need. Well, to start, could we just have a prayer to start? I'll go ahead and offer it. I don't want to put anyone on the spot. Our Father in heaven, we're grateful for the opportunity that we have to meet together, grateful for this group and their goodness and their experience and their willingness to help. We pray that as we visit together today, that we can think of the questions and have the ideas that would help us to do a good work in helping to help these families that are looking for help and needing help in a way that is effective and pleasing unto thee, and that magnifies our abilities and our time as we consecrate it to this cause. And we're grateful to thee for all that thou hast blessed us with, for these tender mercies and reminders that help us to be prepared and to turn to thee. And we say this humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
You know, the first thing that I'd like to do is just walk with you out the school, because I'm really curious today at noon. What we're going to be talking about is the meeting that we have at noon. I'm doing a live stream that is more of like an orientation, just an overall, like top to bottom orientation of why we're doing what we're doing. Just give them a little bit of background. It says my internet is unstable as I'm walking through the school. So if you ever lose me, just tell me, because that's really the test here. I want to know if I can walk with these families through the school and show them a few things. I'd love to show them our lobby and show them a few pictures and help them connect with the mission of the school and where this is all coming from. And it's something we should do for all of our families when they become members of American Heritage Worldwide.
Peter,
Yes?
if you do that, it's going to be Facebook Live, correct?
Yes, but it'll be Zoom that we're using. So it's this tool. So if the experience is good for you right now, it will be good for them. And it looks like everybody's frozen. So.
Oh, we lost you for a little bit there when you were coming down the stairs, I think, or when you were.
So the tool that I'll be using is Zoom, and Zoom will actually sync with Facebook Live. So what's nice about that is I can invite a couple hosts, and I'd love to invite the 5 Family School Power Hour moms, right, to join me as hosts. And so you can join me in the Zoom meeting, and that's streaming to live Facebook. It's a service that we use, and then it can also stream to other networks, other Facebook pages and groups that we're connected with that I'm an admin on, like the National Advisory Board, the National LDS Homeschool Association Facebook page, for example. Hi, Ty. Anyway, hi, Candace. Anyway, I'd love to walk them through the school and show them a little bit of the school. Are you guys coming in and out? How is it?
Fine.
You're with me? Okay, so I'm going to walk out the door. If your experience is good, then theirs will be too. I mean, assuming all things are equal.
I'm just wondering too, Peter, if we want to use the GoPro as well. Maybe when you do that, just.
I wish we could, but we can't. We can't go back and forth from a GoPro to Zoom. I've thought about that.
Right.
And so what I'm doing is I'm holding my.
Yeah, it has the stabilizer on.
My computer. But this is the best we could do. Are you guys okay here? Everybody can hear?
No, it's in and out.
Yeah.
It's in and out, yeah.
It's better when you're standing still than when you're walking.
So you're still connected, I can tell. Nobody's frozen. And I'm outside the school, so it's using the school's wireless. And I'm just evaluating how far away from the school I can get and still have a reliable connection. Let's just walk away a little bit further. I'd love to get to about right here where they can see. Are you still with me?
That's probably about as far as you can go.
What is it? Why do you know that? Why are you saying that's as far as I can go? For that reason right there.
Because you're slowing down and slurring, and it's frozen now.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see if once I've lost you, if I can get you back by getting closer to the school. That's another test. Thanks for doing this.
Peter, I wonder on the waiting room if you can have a screenshot or a photo of the school, of the outside of the school as the background or something, or photos like of the pictures you want to show so that you don't have to be moving and you can just use the photos.
That's a
Maybe it
great
can
idea.
help with the connection issue.
That's a great idea. I could just take it. Hey, how you doing, Spencer? You see it?
I can help.
Okay, well, it looks like I can be about this close to the school and we're okay. I'm not jumpy in the voice or anything.
It's good for me.
I am still a little bit, I can tell.
Just don't be there long.
Yeah, okay. Well, actually, I just thought I would be there for about 15 seconds, and then we would come inside. Now let's walk through the school, and I can kind of show you. Here we are. It's a little bit empty, more empty than it normally is, you can see. I'd love to take them here to the center court where they can see one of the founding principles of the school is to teach children about the founding fathers and to develop a love and appreciation for America and its founding. So that's a good thing to show there. One thing I love to show people when I'm doing a tour of the school, and I'd love to show them these two pictures right here, because although we teach children here at this school, we know that it really is the parents' responsibility and their job first. We're here to support the parents. And this is these are beautiful pictures, Simon Dewey pictures to illustrate that founding principle of the school as well, that we're here to serve parents worldwide. And that's what American Heritage Worldwide does in a really acute way, right? Probably in a more mission-centered way. And then I love to show them the mission of the school primarily. I mean, these are the 7 principles of personal, civil, and liberty that are woven into our curriculum here, but that mission statement says it all. That we're here to.
See, and we can't read it, or I at least.
I could maybe read it while. This is a bad place in the school too when it comes to internet. Am I still with you? Not really.
We lost you for a sec, but then you came back.
Yeah, so this is not a good place in the school for internet. I've noticed whenever I'm walking down this hall, that I lose my cell phone signal when I'm on wireless. So I lose calls when I walk down that hall right there. So this is probably a bad place to do that. It's fun to just show some of the artwork of the school and give them a sense of where we are and who we are. This is the master plan for the school. We've built this piece. We still have this piece to build.
Peter?
Yeah.
I just want
You can't hear me, can you?
Okay. I love the idea of giving them a short view, but let me just tell you what that feels like for someone who lives outside of Utah.
Yeah. Please.
I want to cry because my kids can't go there.
Okay.
So will you support me? That's nice for you to live in Utah and you have this beautiful building, but support me because I can't be there. So let's not maybe do too long.
Okay.
And then get to where we would wish everyone could come here, but because you can't, we have these other fantastic
resources.
Because I just get depressed and want to cry. I don't know about the rest of you, but I just think, I wish I could go there.
Did I even do that? Should I just scrap it all together and just?
I think you should. Honestly, I think we should focus on
what we do.
Family school. Yeah.
Well, I think you could put out the principles, like I said, a still picture or something like these photos are up in our hallways. This is what we look like. This is where we base this is our principles, that we're basing all our education on, and then move from there. Because it is a beautiful facility and I'm in Virginia, so no.
Awesome. Okay, good. That's why I need your feedback. Fantastic.
And you know what? Sorry, one more thing. Maybe you would want to share this. I don't know, maybe not. But I think it was Nanette who had the dream. Was it Nanette
Yes.
who had the dream about the flooding at the school?
Yep. It was actually
I
Jane.
lost you. You froze. Who was it?
Jane. It was her sister.
Jane. Okay. Who had the dream that she saw, American Heritage was flooding, and that you were trying to move the curriculum out as fast as you could. And I think this is a fulfillment. It's not a physical flooding, but it's flooding by numbers. We have moms. You said you are flooded with moms every day, and we're seeing a literal flooding, and we're trying to get this out as fast as we can. And I don't know if that's inspiring to some of these moms that we knew this would come, and there would come a day, and we've been preparing for this, and we have lots of ways that we can support you.
I'm so glad that you reminded me about that dream that she had, and maybe I should invite her to share it, but maybe I'll just ask her.
I don't know. Maybe even just for this group here, that we're seeing that dream happen.
Yeah, that was really special. That happened right at the beginning of this project, actually, and in real vivid detail. She shared and she wrote it up. I should see if she'd be willing to share a piece of that. Not today, of course, but of course she's in Japan right now. Did you know that?
No.
Her and Kimball. Kimball is President Kimball's grandson, her husband, and they were called. Not that makes any difference to their call, but they were called to be mission president a couple years ago, and they're serving in Fukuoka, Japan, right now. So her emails are pretty interesting. Okay, we don't have a lot of time, and I don't want to take too much time, but I want to tell you what we've been thinking about doing this coming week. And of course, a lot of these families that are coming aren't your traditional homeschoolers, right? They don't know what to do with these resources. They're excited about it because they're free, and they feel like they're possibly helpful. They're hoping that they're helpful. And I imagine that even though I've seen some really neat experiences and testimonials about the first lesson on Facebook, I imagine that the great majority of them have gone in and taken a look and said, I don't know what to do with this. As simplified as they are and as helpful as they have been to your families and homeschoolers who just kind of figure things out and make them work and make lots of things work, they're not there. And so the thought, well, I'll just tell you what the disappointing thing is for me is that we're not further along than we are. And that always is the case for me. So it's nothing new in my life to not be frustrated or disappointed that we're not further along. My mom said if I came home from my mission with a little patience, that it would have been a huge success. So I work on that virtue a lot. But if we had student go a little bit further along, and Afwa's here, I saw her join. Afwa, is your mic on? No, it's not, but she's here. And Afwa's going to be helping.
Hi, yeah, sorry. Yeah, there you go. Oh, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yep.
Oh, good. Oh my gosh, I just want to say really quick, I think you're doing a fabulous job. I think if you really want to do homeschooling, the information is there and you'll make it work. That's what I think. I think yesterday I'd planned to get out some videos just really quick, and I didn't because there's so much information, and I was reading and yeah, I got kind of lost in it. But I'm just saying, I think it's great. I think you guys have done an amazing job as a mother and a homeschooler as well, advocate.
Thank you, Afwa. Afwa is familiar with family school, but she's very familiar with homeschooling. She's very familiar with teaching K-6. She taught at Challenger School for 10 years, and she homeschooled for 10 years, and she's a parent now at the school. And she has 4 boys.
We can't hear you, Peter.
You're going in and out.
You're muffled.
In fact, let me connect to the let me connect to the wired connection. 1 second.
I'm excited to meet all the moms on here. This is so fun.
You guys don't know Holly either. I should introduce Holly. Or Holly, why don't you introduce yourself while I'm getting this set up?
Yeah, so let's see. I've been involved with American Heritage School for a long time. I went 5th through 12th grade, and I absolutely love the curriculum and principal approach. I'm the engagement manager. So part of my job description was to bring the American Heritage the family school and the on-campus families kind of together. And this whole thing has kind of done that for us in a way. So, but yeah, I'm involved in helping connect families together and just being a support for Peter and a lot of other things.
Yeah,
Marketing, yeah.
A lot of different things. Some graphic design, some marketing. She'll be managing this project for starters. So she'll be working with this team of moms to coordinate, what's going on each day and making sure Zoom meetings are set up correct.
Yep.
The title is engagement manager because we want her to help us build a community. And instead of just offering a product, we really want to build a community, people who are connected and who feel supported by each other. And
yep.
So that begins with engaging with our members and making sure that they know her and that she's a support to them, welcoming new Facebook members, welcoming new members, calling them and asking them if there's anything we can do to support them. And it's exciting because we haven't been able to pay somebody to do that in the past. We've just kind of leveraged moms and the organic support that moms provide each other, which is awesome. That will still happen. But to have somebody that's dedicated to it, that we can put on very specific, important jobs to be done is what Holly will provide us by way of support and welcoming and engaging and building community.
Yep.
And I'll just go back to Afua. I was saying that Afua is also a parent here at the school. She has 4 beautiful boys who are just the best looking men that you've ever.
Thank you.
And I get to coach 2 of them. I was coaching the soccer team here at the school until they axed the soccer program, of course.
Yeah.
I may have had 3 weeks with the Dane boys, but they're good kids.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go back to this hour. Really, for the remainder of the time this morning, I wanted to brainstorm before we go into this meeting at noon so that I know what to say. And normally you have a lot more time to prepare for these things, but this is how things are going right now. So thank you for meeting early. The idea that we had is that if we could provide moms with a live and recorded, so they can view it later, a live hour of the day where they know that we're going to be doing some really exciting things and helpful things and inspiring things for their children directly to them, then a mom could potentially sit down with her children together in front of a TV or a computer monitor and have an experience with that is uplifting. That's not just filling time, although filling time seems to be something that's important to them too. As I've talked with them, their K-6 children are now done with school by 11 o'clock every day. And they're looking for, what else do I do? And by the way, we didn't even do history and we didn't even do literature. We did math and we did some writing things. And I had a couple of videos I could watch without any assignments. And what else do I do with my day? And so we want to give them something powerful to do in the day, something that can be really uplifting and inspiring, and not just be a tool for them to disconnect from their children, but something that can bring them together and show them how to teach family school. So we're not just teaching children, we're tutoring mothers too. We're helping them see how a family school lesson can be taught in 25 to 30 minutes. And that's the idea. Here's the idea that I have so far. And then I just want you to take it and talk about it and share your ideas and add on to it or cut it down. You should know, most of you haven't worked with me really closely on something, but I don't take anything personally. If you say, hey, that's a really dumb idea, which you just said, Angie, but you didn't say it like that, then you can just say that. I am not going to take anything personally, and I'm not married to any of my ideas. I'm married to the reason we're doing it. That's it. And so I want that to be really clear with these mothers who we talk with today, and fathers. So this is what I've thought of so far. And I've thought of this because I've been helping the school. In the last week, I've not just been supporting our American Heritage Worldwide team, I've been supporting our on-campus transition from on-campus to online learning. That has been a tremendous job. That has taken almost every piece of me. And now I have all of these other families to support that have come to family school and the American Heritage Worldwide program. And what they're doing on campus is they start the day with this little Start Right PE, 15 minutes, and they have a PE teacher who is, I mean, Yehosh Bonner did the one yesterday, and he was just awesome. And he shared a little inspiring message as he was warming them up, and they were doing some calisthenics, and they were doing some lunges, and they were doing some squats, and it was just a really fun time. And I saw all the kids kind of gathering there, and that wouldn't happen with us because they'd be on Facebook Live, but it was really fun to see how they were engaging with him through technology. And so I thought that idea, maybe that will work, where we can start with, we call it the Start Right PE segment, and that would be the first 15 minutes or so. And then we would invite the children to gather around the computer and have a seat and have a 30-minute lesson from one of you. Perhaps it's history on Monday and literature on Tuesday, and each of you would take ownership of a subject, and science on Wednesday and geography on Thursday, and we would rotate a humanities day on Friday where we do art one week and music the next week, because art and music lessons or courses have about half as many lessons, as you know. Then after that, they're all there together already. We would invite them to get their literature books out. And I think this could be a really fun opportunity to reach out to our families. I've got a Google sign-up sheet that I developed already, and if you feel like this is a good idea, but I'd love to go into the homes of one of our families and let them do a read along. We outline what page or what pages we're reading for the day for that 15 minutes. And then we tune over to their home. We go to their home, whether it's in Omaha, Nebraska or New Zealand, and let them read with their family to the rest of the families. We would have to test this before. We would just have to run through it with each of those families every single day to make sure that their connection is good enough where they're at to be able to do that. But bandwidth isn't an issue as far as like all people coming together, because we're actually they're not coming to Zoom, they're going to Facebook Live, or they're just watching the recording on our YouTube channel afterwards. So those are the three ideas that I had so far. Something active that gets their body going, something engaging that gets their mind going and their heart going, right? Because that's what we do in family school. We connect the mind and it's an entire kind of a soul learning experience, right? A whole soul or true learning experience. And then we just have a very casual read along that they can join for that hour. So that's where I'm at right now. What do you think about that? And what other ideas? What are some other things that we could potentially do? Maybe rotate different ideas. Maybe there's a show and tell 15 minutes instead of a read along. Maybe there's where we can invite families to share a project they've been working on, or I don't know. I just want you to tell me what you think, what you were thinking while I was sharing.
So I started doing the zoology, and Yao is looking after what's his name? Mr. Clark's snake. So I thought of actually including that I don't know how you feel about that, actually, teaching the differences between a vertebrate and an invertebrate, and actually having the snake there. I don't know about touching the snake, but just to show, and it will be that wow factor, I don't know. I think for me, the number one thing is just keeping everyone engaged. Everyone like, yeah, I want to learn more. Regardless what the subject is just how do you provide that information in a real life situation, kind of. That's one of the R's, isn't it? Relate.
Yep.
Anyway, that was my
and I love that idea, Afua. And I think let's have another meeting where we can talk about what makes a really great 30-minute family school half hour. And I think that's great, but let's talk right now about just the concept, what's going into that hour. I think we all agree, I hope we can all agree that 30 minutes of this should be dedicated to you teaching these families one of the lessons and moving through a course over time. And maybe you don't teach a whole course because that would take that would be 35 weeks. Or maybe you do. Maybe we have a round of teachers that stay with one course, and then we get 5 new moms to help with the next course or the next year, right?
Mhm.
And anyway, let's talk about the concept and how it's built right now. What are we missing?
How many do you think you'll actually get? Because this concept of sharing, if you've got 500 families, you can't take time to share. And I was thinking initially, when the families log on, can they just sign in? Or this is the Smith family from Wisconsin, just over in the chat, not out loud, so we can see kind of who's here. And maybe the moderator could say, hey, the Smith family from Wisconsin, could you share this? Or to be able to have a list to call from. Because my other concern is sometimes you'll get people that are chatty, right? And they want to just keep going, and you're like, I've only got 30 minutes and this one share. So that's my concern, is how to moderate it. And maybe you have a timer, you have 60 seconds ready, Smith family, share something in 60 seconds. But
so you're actually,
remember,
you're talking about technology, and let me explain to you how this will work from a technical standpoint. Because you're exactly right. If we tried to have everybody join a Zoom meeting and we were trying to moderate 500 people, which we will, I mean, that'll be how it is, we would fail. So what we're going to do is use Zoom to host the meeting with the specific people that will be invited to that meeting that day. If there's somebody you want to bring into your lesson, then you'll have pre-invited them and made them just like this meeting. We have like 7 people, right? On the meeting itself, you'll have the person reading the literature book. You might have the student sharing an art project. You might have the parent who's going to share a personal experience. You'll have invited your co-hosts to the meeting, and that's it. We won't share the Zoom meeting with anyone. So no one will actually come to the meeting. We won't be managing participants, and we won't have to be managing 500 people and seeing who has, who's chatting in an answer. They will be viewing it from Facebook Live. They'll be watching it on Facebook, or they'll be recording of the meeting on YouTube. But they won't be engaging with the presenter. It just is not reasonable to expect you to be able to do that. I know that would fail. And so the only people in the meeting, in your Zoom meeting that you've invited, will be just like this. People you sent the link to, they're the only ones who know. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you for clarifying.
Okay, so Zoom can connect with Facebook Live. So you can be in a Zoom meeting and be live on Facebook. That is really cool.
Yeah, that's right. It is really cool. If you see these, can you see these tools down here at the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
There's more right here, and one of them is live on Facebook. You see this? So if I click this button right here, I can share this meeting because of this technology right here.
Mm-hmm.
With this technology, I can share this to our Zoom. But not only can I share it to Zoom, I can share it to other Facebook pages and other Facebook groups that I'm an admin on. So if I contact the National Homeschool Association Facebook page, which I have, and and I'm connected to them, and I am, then they will let me, when I start this live stream, it will post on their page too, which is kind of cool. It'll post on American Heritage School Facebook page. It'll post on any page that I'm an admin on that has said, yeah, we'd love for you to share that content with our community as well. Anyway, let me go back to.
I have to head out because oddly enough, our annual checkups weren't canceled. I just want to say, I think that this is a brilliant way to introduce family school. And the number one thing that I'm hearing from moms who've just been thrust into homeschooling that never wanted to homeschool is just their stress levels are through the roof, and they don't know how to manage the impact to their times, and they're still trying to figure out a schedule. So I think having a nice set hour where they at least know what's going to happen in their house for that hour is fantastic. I think as far as talking to them today, one of the best things we can do is just acknowledge that they're not here because they're really excited about American Heritage School or Family School or anything. They're here because they're desperate.
Yeah.
And
Good.
I know that what we have will meet their needs, but the more concise and enthusiastic that we can be, kind of allay their fear, I think is the main thing. So that's all I have.
Awesome. I love that.
Great.
I would also add to that to just say that they don't know where to start necessarily, because they may not have the textbooks from the school. They may not have the things that they've been working on. They probably know what their kids have studied, but just like letting them know that if you choose a subject in the family school, you're set. Like you have all the things that you need. It's all provided right there. You even just read the lesson before, and then you can go forward with it. Like even the handouts and the flashcards and all the things that they need to study a subject, it's here for you. So you don't need to stress, you just need to read it and move forward.
Yeah, great. I'd love for a couple of you, if you were planning on attending, if you could co-host with me, I'd love for you to be there and just jump in all the time with ideas as you've experienced it in your home, because those things will make a lot more, will connect in a way that I can't connect with them. Does that make sense? You're saying things right now, and I can say those things, but if you say them, they make a lot bigger difference. Than they feel differently, I guess. They trust you more than they trust me, even though we're a nonprofit and we're a cause-oriented organization, and we're providing the kind of resources that we're providing. It's still, there's just a level of objectivity that you have that I don't, no matter what I say and how I say it. So all of you, if you're able to be there, I'll invite you as a host. If you're there, wonderful. They'll be able to see you as you talk, and then I think it'll go a lot better. And I don't have to.
Are you planning on going over like orientation of like navigating the website and things?
Yep.
That's what you're going over? Okay, good, because that's what I told my people.
Yep, that's what I'll be well suited to do too. Is just helping them understand the layout of the site and where the resources are and how to access them, and maybe how to use a couple of the tools. But when we really get into planning and preparing for a lesson and teaching a lesson and using the age-leveled record assignments and things like that, I'd love for you to I'd love to be able to turn that over to you and just, yeah, here's how I plan for a lesson. It's really simple. I love this. I love that. And here's how I teach a lesson. And don't think that you have to do it, that you have to teach a lesson like it is and teach it all. If you want to go a different direction, you should feel fine to do that. And those kinds of tips, right? Coming from you, I think, is a lot better than coming from me. And I love the record assignments. I love that I can teach my children together, and then at the end of each lesson, I have an assignment and an activity that they can choose from. It gives them some autonomy, and it's easy for me as a mom to print off a coloring page for my kindergartner and print off a matching, activity for my early elementary school student, and a writing assignment for my middle and high schooler, or whatever it is.
I have an idea too, and I want to get Nellie and Angie's opinions on this as well. What would you think about us asking families to submit videos answering the question, how family school has helped me deal with the COVID-19 quarantine?
Great one.
Because I think that's encouraging for a lot of moms that are just overwhelmed and kind of just understand, that family school is totally here to help. So, do you think that would be a good idea if we did that?
Yes.
Okay.
I love it, Holly. You just need to do it in a way that doesn't come across like we're profiteering from their
promoting.
Yeah, profiteering actually from that hardship. That's the real delicate. That's the real delicate line we walk with reaching out to families right now. That we don't want to come across that we're trying to capitalize on the hardship, and yet we are trying to make the resources available to them during a time when they most need it, for good
We've
reason.
lost you. Everyone gone? Oh.
Am I gone? Am I gone?
Oh, you're back now. You were gone for a little bit.
Copy just a little bit.
Holly, I would say too is I would try to balance that and that idea out with the greater needs that you're working with, because that's a really great idea. I kind of look at it like the video intro on the family school page where everybody submitted, and it's really cool and
Right.
fun and it's cute and everything, but you know, I don't know, you got to balance and weigh it out how much time you want to put into that and how much time you need to put into these other
Right.
pressing projects.
Yeah, that's valuable, and that's valuable feedback. Thank you.
Anything else that comes to mind of something creative that we could do during that hour? And is that even let's ask this question first, sorry. Is that the right name for it? Family School Power Hour? Or is that cheesy?
I would take out, well, me personally, I would take out the power. That was my initial reaction, but I don't know.
Nellie's biting her lip. She wants to say.
I like cheese. Cheese is good.
Yeah.
Power Hour. So I want to join it.
You moms would be able to tell us the best on this one. When it comes to naming things, I always send surveys, you know that. And because I think like a guy. But I try to think like a woman. Like I have this, like, I go in this place in my mind where I'm like, I'm a woman. And you'll never get me to admit that outside of this group.
Hey,
I like to cut hair, I like to cook, so I have this metrosexual side of me already, so I think I can get there. Go ahead, Angie.
so question. So you're thinking of having the PE be a part of that hour?
That's what I thought initially.
Yeah, like I love that idea. Gets everyone up and moving and blood flowing, and then we go into the lesson for 30 minutes, and then so that gets us about 45 minutes. What was your idea for the closing, or is there something else, or is that it?
That's it. That's all I have so far, is that actually the lesson would be about 30 minutes, and then we would pick a literature book and have parents sign up for a read along from one of the books that's recommended in the curriculum. You know how we have the recommended reading?
Yes. Yep. Sorry, you said that. Yep. Okay.
But I do love the idea of trying to bring in an outside voice during the lesson. I'd love to have another sign up for, people where a teacher could say, I'm looking for someone with a story about this, and parents can go on and volunteer to do that. That might be we definitely won't do it initially. That's not a dynamic we should start with. But in as much as you have other people that you could bring into your discussion to show and tell, or to testify, or to share an experience, or to be a guest speaker, that would be awesome. In fact, you have that guest speaker app, right? So you can click on that little guest speaker button, and you can say, hey, Mom, share this story that I remember you telling me when I was a kid. It would go perfect with my lesson. As much as you can bring in a guest speaker to your discussions, that even takes it up a whole nother level. And maybe that's the way to do it, through that guest speaker app, instead of trying to coordinate with another co-host to have them talk at a specific time and managing them during your meeting. Does everybody know what that guest speaker tool is? That's pretty sad that we haven't communicated that well. So Nellie, you don't know what it is. Trisha, do you know what it is? Trisha's muted.
No, I haven't seen that yet.
You did a little Facebook Live about it or something, Peter. I remember seeing it, but I've never used it.
Yeah, it is quite an awesome little tool. I'll just show you really quickly. Boy, I wonder why my internet's slow. I mean, I'm connected to a hard line right now, and we have blazing fast internet on our campus. It might be because so many other things are open. That's possible. Okay, so when you go to, I'm not logged in. Move this. Any lesson, there's this little icon at the top of each of the lesson plan blocks. So that's what we call those lesson plan blocks. Research is a block, activity, attention activity is a block. And if you're in a lesson, let's say there's somebody who you want that you know, some zoologist or whatever that you want to connect with, all you have to do is click this little button right here. What's your number, Nellie?
703-559-1696.
If you text somebody right here in this system and you say, please share whatever it is you want them to share. It's kind of weird. Didn't like that very well. Then I'll send this. Look on your cell phone.
Yeah, I have a message from Elizabeth Henderson. That's awesome.
Click on it.
Okay.
Click on that link. What does it say?
Click the button below to create and send your video. Remember to make it a selfie video holding your phone vertical. That's awesome.
Click it.
Could you show us your phone, Nellie, what it looks like?
Oh yeah, sure.
It has my picture, and it should be coming from me, actually. I don't know why it's coming from Elizabeth, but anyway, go ahead and click that button.
Oh, maybe I just have that number saved as Elizabeth or something. I don't know.
No, I bet that's it.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to, I hope this works. So I want to use my camcorder or Marco Polo. Which app do I want to use? Ooh.
Your camcorder. You could use your camcorder that's going to pull up automatically so that you can take a selfie video.
Okay.
And then just say something for 5 seconds. Say hello, everyone.
Hi, this is a test. I hope it works.
Okay, stop.
Okay.
Now what does it ask you?
I just pressed stopped and pressed OK. Then it says ready to share. It's uploading. It's doing a little, the light's not very good. It's doing a little circle to upload. And then it has a green check. I press agree, and then I press send.
Yep.
Do I send it? Because I did.
Send it.
Okay. And then it says, thank you for your submission.
Awesome.
That's so cool.
Now look what happens on my end. We press this right here on the research block. So if I refresh this, now you're doing this in advance. You're preparing for your lesson and you remembered the story that your mom told. And so you texted her and asked her to share it. And when you come back to it, when you're teaching, at the top of this.
Hi, this is a test. I hope it works.
You have their story. You have their experience.
Yay, that's awesome.
Isn't that great?
That's so cool.
So homeschoolers can have guest speakers too. That's the idea. It's called the Invite a Guest app. Maybe we'll do that with our families today. We'll just run through one example. Now, one thing I noticed, James, are you on still?
Peter, really quick, I am wondering,
Yeah, I am.
like how far you want to go into all of the little things with the families, because it could be overwhelming.
Yeah, that wasn't one of the things that I would that I would show in an orientation, and so I totally agree with you that that's as cool as that is. They're probably going to be most excited to hear that we're doing a family school hour on Monday. And maybe I should lead with that. Maybe we should start with that announcement. Just that, hey, I'm going to teach you, and I've got some people that are going to help us in this meeting, help you understand how to use family school to teach your children together. But we want to announce this, right? We want to make sure that you know that you have this hour each day that we're going to be sharing a lesson, doing a read along with a book that connects to that lesson, and a fun little start right activity session, and just helping them understand that hour every day is starting on Monday, regardless of whether they want to teach this independent of that hour or not. Yeah?
So I have a question about the read along. And maybe this is what you're envisioning, but when you say read along, I think of a chapter book, and I think of like a mom reading to kids, and it's not something that they're actually seeing. What if you did a picture book that goes with the lesson, and so then you can hold it on the screen, everybody's just seeing what's happening in the picture book, and as the read aloud at the end. And so then it's less of like a longer chapter book and more of something that's interactive on the screen for the kids to see and be a part of.
Well, that way too, if they missed the week previous, it's not like, oh shoot, I don't know what the story was, I missed it, we got to get caught up. It starts and ends in that instant.
Yeah, and it could have nothing to do with the lesson too. It could just be another fun connecting and time for them to have one more activity or one more thing to do during that hour that is really, really simple. I love the idea of picture books. It doesn't, I don't know, does a picture book grab your upper elementary the way that it does the lower? Good.
I think so. I think it does still. So
probably doesn't do 15 minutes then either, or does it? Maybe shorter?
I would say fill the time, so you could do 1 or 2, just depending on the story. And then you could even have a small discussion after of things you noticed in the book or things that played into your lesson. You could even do, like, if you did a literature section on Emily Dickinson, and the 15-minute would be reading some of her poetry, just absorbing in it or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, that is.
So it doesn't necessarily need to connect, but it could with the lesson. Yeah.
I think it should connect with the lesson, just because it's one more branch and one more like holistic way of learning the subject.
And we have recommended reading for all those levels. I think every course has recommended picture books and recommended books for elementary and recommended books for older children.
Yep.
So we could just use those. Although, I mean, you'd get through your picture books pretty fast. You'd have to think of some other ideas if you were doing that at the end of.
Peter, you're talking to homeschool moms. We can feel that.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Anything else that any other ideas that come to mind when it comes to, you know, what could be included in that power hour?
Something that just comes to mind real quick, and I think you guys did it before. You did something in the kitchen, so some sort of like treat. You guys made pretzels, I think, one time, and that was really cool and fun. And that might be something interactive that, if you know, I don't know. I'm just thinking.
I love it.
I don't know about. Do you have enough time to do that in this hour, or could that be maybe every month there's one special, or every couple of weeks there's a special activity like that? Because that took a full hour, didn't it, to do?
Yeah, that was a show and tell event that we did for an hour.
Like an extra enrichment thing.
But that's a great idea as an enrichment, or to mix it up, right? Maybe the lesson's really short, and today we're gonna make something, or we're gonna create something, or cook something, or draw something.
Or even show them how to make Play-Doh by natural ingredients that you have at home, and then you make Play-Doh and do creations, you know. Like, I'm telling you, my oldest is 13 and she still loves Play-Doh. Like, she creates different things, but it's still fun. You
know, the exciting thing about this family school power hour is that they'll look forward to you. And that's why I really was very thoughtful and prayerful about who we have do them, especially initially, because you're doing something for the first time. But you'll all have your own flavor of what you do, and so they'll know it's not just zoology on Monday, it's zoology with AFWA, and it's not just geography on Thursday, it's geology or geography with Angie. And I don't know who's teaching what, by the way. That's actually a good discussion too. I would love to announce to them what you're teaching. I'd love for them to meet you when we're talking about this family school power hour, and just saying, hey, these are our five teachers who you're going to get to know them really well. And this is the schedule. On Mondays, we're going to be doing history with. So is there something how many do we have here actually? Let me look at this. I need to go to where I can see the participants, manage participants.
Peter?
Okay, turn your mutes on, or turn your mutes off, or turn your audio on. And I'd love to hear what you feel most strongly about. Yes, Angie.
I just wanted to just say, I think that's a good idea to start with this power hour, because I think as they listen to you go through the orientation things, I think their mind is just going to be getting like, okay, it's one more thing I need to do, and getting stressed. And by the end, they might just be like, but if you start with this, then I think they'll engage more, because they're like, oh, okay, I want to listen to every word he says, because I'm really going to use this. It's something that I want my family to do. Does that make sense? You start out by calming their fears and showing them we're going to support you. And now listen up, so you can know on Monday, first lesson, you can get engaged immediately, versus, okay, I don't know. That just was a thought that came to me.
Yes, and I'm sorry, I heard the last half of what you said. So what's the proposal, the order?
Oh,
I know what you said, but where does that happen?
You were saying for this orientation you're doing today on Facebook to lead with this.
And you said and don't?
No, start with it. Start with telling the moms about the power. You said you were going to end with it, but I think starting with it grabs them.
Totally agree. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. Now that now that I'm kind of seeing what is the real value add to this conversation. The thing that they're most interested in is how can you help me, not how can you teach me to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. That's great, Angie. I totally agree with that. Tell me what you're most interested in teaching, Nellie, Afua.
Right. Yes, I'm there.
Something that just like jumps out at you and
We're losing.
I don't know what the deal is with I'm connected, like I'm connected to the wire connection. It's kind of concerning me, because we're gonna have normally it's just really, really strong. Maybe it's because, I don't know. I don't want to say that, but okay, carry on. Nellie, anything? Pick two, actually. Pick one.
Okay, I would probably lean toward literature. Yep, but I also love geography, so I go either way.
Angie?
Art and music.
Art and music. Great. Trisha?
I really love history.
Well, this is working out really well. Afua? Afua?
Uh-oh.
I was on mute.
Okay.
Well, right now I've been looking at zoology, which is really interesting. So, yeah, I know. That's what I've been looking at the last couple of weeks. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Marin, I think, has jumped off. She was here with us, and then she jumped off. So I guess she gets, what does she get? You know, if who said geography? Who said literature?
I did.
Oh, so for you, either literature or geography would work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fantastic. So we'll just have. Well, should I just ask Marin which one she prefers? Is that okay?
No, give her geography.
Okay.
I'll take literature. Or if also needs to help, I am a music teacher as well.
Okay.
So all those.
Okay, so there it is. We've got Humanities Day shared, art and music bouncing every other Friday with Angie. We'll start history with Trisha. So you'll be first up, Trisha.
Okay.
And then we'll go to literature, Nellie. And then we'll go to science, Afua. And then we'll go to geography, Marin. and then Angie will be on Fridays. You know, it's really interesting. I don't know if you saw the original schedule that Nanette and Jane proposed at the very beginning of this. And I see that Nanette's joined us. And Nanette, we were talking about Jane earlier in this conversation, and Angie brought up her dream that she shared with her, and she didn't share this whole dream, of course, but she just felt like this was a fulfillment of that dream, and how American Heritage is working tirelessly day in, day out to try to get everything in the school out to these families. They're on-campus families now in a very real way, and they're worldwide families. But to this conversation we're having right now on schedule, Jane and Annette came up with a schedule at the very beginning of this that we recommended to families because that schedule was very comforting to them, and we just recommended lesson a day. Here's a schedule that works. And this is the exact schedule that I'm proposing that we teach these lessons on directly to these families from all over the world. Well, okay.
It works.
It works.
You're not doing every day a different subject, right? You're doing one subject 4 days and then a humanities day. Is that right?
Well, so right now,
or are you switching off every day?
That's the idea, but I'm totally open to that idea too, which I do like, where you have a focus on one subject in a week. That's more of a lift that week for one person. That really is up to you 5 moms.
It worked better. We tried it both ways, where we did a different subject every day and then had Friday be music, art, and literature. But we were switching houses, and each mom, it was better for them to focus in on one subject for 4 days and then switch. And then, so we do history 4 days and then a humanities day, and then do literature, science 4 days and a humanities day. And you could throw literature in there, or you could do a little literature it's hard to, I mean, you could assign the moms a book to be reading to the kids and do a literature as part of the humanities day.
I think literature.
That's how we did it. Yeah. Literature, I think you have to keep up with the book. You can't just do literature every 5 weeks.
Right.
But we did history every 4 weeks, science every 4 weeks, and then the mom, it made it easier for the mom to just like dive in and teach history for 4 days, and then have a humanities day. And get the kids' minds focused on one thing, going to the library, grabbing books that have to do with that subject, picture books and things for the kids. It was easier to just focus on something for, put that map up and it stays up for a week. Put the, whatever. It works better for us. We even did it for a while. This was way before the family school. This is when we were just trying to make the NOAA plan work in homeschool, and we did it a month at a time, and it got boring. I know a lot of family schools are doing whole units now and then switching. Like my daughter, she's just only doing zoology right now, and so I don't know. I think switching off every day is fun, because, especially right now, because then they get a taste for each of the teachers this next week. And you could do it that way for several weeks to get the kids excited about the different subjects, because maybe their thing isn't history, and maybe you'll lose, or it isn't geography, or isn't science, whatever. And maybe you'll lose them, where if you did it the way you're proposing, where you did a different subject every day, then they get a taste of everything and your excitement for that subject as a teacher. And then you could stretch it out in a month or in 2 weeks.
Go ahead, Angie, Nellie, Tricia. I want to hear what you have to say about this. You're the ones that are actually teaching, and what's the best for you, and what do you think is the best for these moms who are now receiving education through a device, so they're not preparing for these lessons. We're teaching them. And
Right.
Right. That I didn't see you guys waiting. Julie, thank you for joining. Nanette, thank you for joining. And then there was someone else, I can't remember who that was, but anyway, I'll give you a little recap here in just a second, but I want to hear what Tricia and Angie and Nellie have to say about that schedule. What do you think?
Nellie, you were speaking.
So, thank you. Thank you. I would say that personally, I do a unit study when I'm teaching at home. We stick with one subject and go through. I look at this power hour as completely supplemental to the other parents' schooling. So it's not going to be something necessarily they're relying on heavily. We're being their model of how to be a good homeschool teacher, you know? And so like it's more of a supplement is what I'm thinking. So with that said, I agree with Nanette though. All of a sudden I'm thinking, I don't know, a literature lesson once a week, we can do lots of things with that. But I like the everyday subject change.
Hey, Angie, anything?
I'm just thinking about, I'm doing humanities, so I think I would still remain once a week no matter what we decide, but I'm thinking about these other moms who have to prep a lesson 4 days a week. That's asking a lot, given at least I think I mean, it's doable, but I feel like I don't want to overwhelm anyone at this point. And I agree with Nellie that we're supplementing. And I like the variety because right now I feel like the kids, this is all new to them. And we want to keep learning exciting and fresh. And for a lot of them, maybe they need to fall back in love with learning again, like was mentioned. So I think changing every day is something new, something exciting, something to look forward to, and it's only an hour. And so I like the changing every day.
Okay.
Right now.
That's kind of what I think for this group and for this purpose. But I if I were teaching my own children, I would like to dig in and dive and like focus. In fact, my favorite method that we recommended when we recommended calendars for homeschool families was you do at least an entire unit before you switch on to the next subject, and you do that unit. It was kind of a unit by unit approach. Yeah. My second favorite was the entire course. Like, this is our zoology month and a half, and this is our history 2 months period. But for this purpose, I do see a totally different need and demographic of learner, and it's completely different medium that we're using to teach. You have anything to add?
Will you be answered?
Go ahead.
I think Tricia had something to say.
Yeah, go ahead. Whoever that was.
You guys pretty much basically said it. I was just feeling like these moms that are now homeschooling are not homeschool moms. And to them, doing one subject only is just weird. And just doing one subject only in one day is also weird, you know?
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think let's keep that schedule the way that we planned, at least for the first week, right? Because we want to give them in the first week, we want to give them a taste of everything. Even if we decided down the road that they know enough about this, maybe we should just dive in each week with one of the four and then rotate like that. In the first week, we would still want them to see everything. We would still want them to see you as well, and so that they have that to look forward to. And like I said, it will get to that point. I'm not trying to flatter you, but that's just how they'll be. They're like, oh, this is history with Tricia. It's not just history; it's history with Tricia. That's how that will.
Peter.
Although, yep.
Peter, you're choppy.
You're choppy.
You're connected to. I'm connected to the wired. I'm on a hardwired connection here, and I should be getting more than like 100 times the bandwidth that I need. So
one other thing I'd like to say is that I'm hoping out of this that the families, after our hour is done and they close their computer, I'm hoping that is that hour is a springboard. So they're like, oh, we just studied, frogs. Let's go to the pond in the neighborhood park and go find frogs. Or, oh, I wanted to share with you my experience that goes with that, relate, that these moms can say, this is a springboard for them to take that subject and that discussion and that learning even farther the rest of the day, that we're just giving them something to build off of. At least that's how I see that. I would like to close it and be like, okay, now, look at some of those extensions and let's do some of those fun activities that we didn't do in that hour that we were having that lesson.
Yeah.
And keep on learning.
Or recommend some of the literature for various ages that they can read.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So originally I was thinking we were going to be doing this for 30 minutes. Are we supposed to be teaching an hour lesson?
Nope. You're 30 minutes. We'll start.
Okay.
PE's already done. They've already filmed them. They'll be recorded, and we'll just play it at the beginning, and then we'll switch to you for 30 minutes, and then we'll switch to another mom somewhere in the world that can do some picture books. But I would plan to do the picture books this first week, and then we can start to incorporate the moms in the second week, so that we know that we can rely on that, and we can start to build up the signups for moms who want to do what you're doing. They'll see what you're doing, and they'll say, I'd love to share a picture book from wherever I'm at. And I think that would be a really fun dynamic, and bringing another face in during this hour, that could be fun. So they'll have Yahosh Bonner, Chris Ann Patch, Juanita, Paula Winitana, and some of these PE teachers that we have here on campus for the first 15 minutes. And they'll be different every day. One day will be a yoga meditation day. Another day will be a HIIT workout. Another day will be a calisthenics workout. Another day will be Chris Ann, who knows what she'll be doing, teaching somebody how to dance or something. She'll probably teach the kids to dance, Chris Ann. But she'll definitely have their attention, believe me. and so that'll be a real fresh way to start each of these hours. That'll be fun for the kids, and then we'll turn the time over to you, and go from there. You'll be managing the meeting. I'll be managing it with you for the first time, for a few meetings, or Holly will, and making sure that when that set is over, that she stops sharing the screen that's playing that PE video, so that it's back on you. And but eventually you'll just run it. You'll run that whole meeting, and you'll take the screen. You'll have the video that you play on your computer. Then you turn your screen share off, and they can just see you for the next 30 minutes while you teach. And then you'll switch it over to another host, who is your reading partner for that day, and let them share their picture books or their literature books, whatever they choose to do for that 15 minutes at the end of the hour. But we'll want to be really careful.
Are you in?
Keep it at that hour. They can always count.
Are you introducing the moms to the lessons themselves, so that they can go in and look at what hasn't been shared yet?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
each day a different lesson.
Yep, like Angie was just mentioning, or Tricia, I can't remember who was sharing that comment, that we should be referencing a lot of that material at the end of the lesson, or even during a lesson, suggestions to the kids and to the parents, things they can do outside of that hour that relate to that lesson. And they'll have a schedule.
Awesome.
All the moms will have a schedule to the lesson of the day. If they want to prepare to and read through the lesson before, they can.
Okay. And this email, you sent the link to everybody who signed up, the 2,000 people who signed up. Are you sending it to everybody?
Everybody. Yep. That's right.
Because I think we have some people who are already on our list who could use this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yep, I think that this will be a really nice resource for a lot of families, regardless of whether they're new to homeschooling or not. I don't think homeschoolers are exempt from this feeling of, well, I think I'll just let Family School Power Hour take this today because I'm not feeling well, or I have some other things I need to do, and we'll discuss what they learned after that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So has this already been sent out? If people want to share it with other people today, has it already been? It's already on the website.
It's already on. It's already
somehow
on
Facebook.
I emailed it to everyone as well. So if you just go to our American Heritage Facebook page, our public page, then might have to jump on. My son has a doctor's appointment. Oh, we had 2 with doctor's appointments. Jenny Beard joined us. She was willing to do this as well. So I'm going to have her on as a substitute. Okay. So Jenny Beard is going to be our full-time substitute for U5. And if you can share it right here from our page, Annette, if you wanted to just share it to your page or grab the link and share it directly.
Okay.
Anyway, Jenny will be your substitute teacher. So if you need some help, don't hesitate to ask. If you're not feeling well that day, you can definitely step in and help.
I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
Okay. They are, can you say the schedule again? Just the order of subjects?
Yep. History, literature, science, geography, then humanities. Because art and music rotating every other week.
Okay. Then my second question, maybe all of you guys can help me with this. If we're doing a literature section, I was thinking it would be more of language arts just because it's pretty short, and literature is usually reading a book together, and so they have to read like 3 chapters before the lesson. So help me understand how that can work in this type of setting.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm going to let you guys.
I would do poetry. I would start with poetry.
Poetry. That's my favorite anyway.
That can be done. And
so are you skipping geography?
No,
are you not doing geography?
Geography would be on Thursdays. It's history, literature, science, then geography, then humanities. And then you guys. History, literature. Which course? I mean, it's up to you. You're the first one on the list. So you pick the course that speaks to you. I would encourage nothing ancient because they're the least engaging. History and art, they're great to do it. But if I were picking a history, I'd pick Revolution and Change, or I would pick the Gospels Restored. One of those 2 years. The only reason I wouldn't pick the Gospels Restored because it starts with the Restoration, and I don't want families having this knee-jerk reaction, which they do have, that this is church, this is Sunday school. So be really careful how you start this very first lesson this week. Don't make it too much of the gospel. Sadly, you have to really be careful how much of that you add to it, because you're giving them an impression that's not really an accurate perception if you're sharing that foundation lesson first and just focusing on laying Christ at the foundation. Make sure they understand that when you're teaching them.
Are we doing the foundation lessons? Do you want everyone to do foundation lessons or just jump right into the next one? Because each lesson has a foundation to it, right? Each subject.
What do you think?
I need to look at them all to see.
Yeah, you need to look at them. I think look at them and see how you can provide it in a way that is more academically engaging, perhaps, so that it is more consistent with the kinds of lessons that you're going to see throughout the rest of the course, so that their first experience this first week isn't something that's misguided.
I'm worried if it's not jumping right into the meat and topic of the lesson, we might lose them. They're like, oh, this is just going to, because usually, the first day of class, in any class you go to, here's the syllabus. We go over, the housekeeping, and here's the overview for what we're going to cover this week.
Yeah.
I think we jump right in.
I think so. I mean, it's the one face method that I've not really liked for homeschooling for our product, because it doesn't represent the course very well. And we've had that comment so many times, like, this is a Sunday school lesson, this is a Sunday school lesson. And what we've said to that is, well, that's probably not our demographic. Well, we have that demographic now, and we need to show them what this content really is. And,
so I would suggest maybe in our first week of lessons, we just find a way to kind of
We lost you, Nellie.
implement those principles into what we're teaching already. Am I done? Okay, is it good?
Well,
Okay,
no,
is it good now? No?
Yeah.
No?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was saying that if you use the family school or you have in the past, you probably already weave those principles into your lessons. And so where you're already looking for a gospel principle in whatever academics you're going for. So yeah, I love our Foundations Week, but I agree with Angie. I think we should just jump in with the content of the subjects for this first week to really get our families work.
The Foundation Week lessons all need to be revisited. They all need to be looked at again. And so I totally agree. I would jump right into the subject. I've looked at those things. So, somebody needs to talk about, and maybe Peter, maybe today in your meeting, are you going to talk about research, reason, relate, and record?
Yep. Uh-huh.
Talk to them a little bit about that. So, you know, most of what's in those foundation lessons, I think you could look over yourself and see what applies to what you're teaching, and then just integrate it in the best way
You might be able to
into
also,
your own lessons.
for your first lesson, you might be able, that's a good idea, and incorporate it into the second lesson. You might be able to teach the second lesson, but mention to the mothers who are watching, and they'll be there most likely that first week, but there are wonderful foundation lessons. Explain to them what the foundation lesson does and invite them to do that apart from your lesson.
Yeah.
Love it, but the reason we're not going to teach it is because it's really something that's best done in the home with your family. And so we encourage you to take that opportunity.
So
Foundation lesson.
I think you're talking about two different things, because we have Foundations Week, those set of 4 or 5 lessons that are part of Foundations Week, where we have one lesson on how to mark your literature, and we have one lesson on staying organized, and we have a lesson on 4Ring. What I'm saying is I would read those lessons and see how you want to go with this, with these brand new moms to this. I think what some of you are talking about is the first lesson of each semester that lays the gospel firmly at the foundation of geography or of history.
Yeah, that's it.
And so when we use the word foundation lessons, we're talking about, we have 2 different ways we use that word. One is the first lesson is the first lesson in the subject, and one is those lessons in Foundation Week. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we're talking about the first lesson in the course. That is the foundation lesson.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I'm kind of jumping in the middle of the topic, but when I was teaching the high school science classes, we would dedicate most of the time to the academic concepts. And then, even though the lessons had the reason and relate section with the gospel principles, I would touch on those lightly. So it wasn't really a Sunday school lesson, it was really a science class with kind of more of a spiritual thought or connection at the end of the lesson. I don't know if
Jane used to call it a Scoutmaster Minute.
Yeah, there you go.
And there's way more at the end of each lesson than a Scoutmaster Minute, but it doesn't have to be that way. And for most moms, it's not. I think they get to the end and they're like, oh.
Hey guys, I want to have another conversation. I need to get off of this call and get prepared for the meeting. And what we're talking about right now is another meeting. It doesn't have any impact on what goes on today at 12. But I want to do a little teacher in-service meeting with this group, okay, where we talk about delivering the very best lessons. We're going to learn a lot next week, and we can talk before this tomorrow. Maybe I'll recommend a time where we can really share ideas about how how to take advantage of that 30 minutes and what we should be including and what we shouldn't be including in some of the conversation that we're having now. Is that fair? Did I lose everybody? Is that okay?
That's great.
That
Okay.
sounds good.
All right, so I am going to put together a little Google Doc that I'm going to share today with these families. Maybe at least it'll show them who's going to be teaching on each of the days. And yeah, no, I'm not going to share a Google Doc today. I'm just going to share with them who you are. And so I'll send you a link. If you can join us, great. If not, no worries. To each of you 5 that will be teaching, so that when we announce what we're doing next week, they can actually see you and then you can also jump in on the conversation about how to plan and prepare these lessons if they're teaching them to their families, like you've been doing for years, right? Okay, thank you so much.
Awesome.
In the
Thanks,
meeting,
Peter.
and we're grateful for each of you. We'll see you in a little bit.
Thanks,
So
Peter.
wonderful.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.